Well, first of all, Rick has been in quite a bit of trouble, right? And left the last school. The Louisville situation with the boys, they were basically prostitutes were coming in on these visits and
servicing the recruits.
Servicing the recruits.
And then when you talk about the recruits, that some of these kids may be minors, essentially. It's possible.
It's possible. But we all know that when recruits come on these college visits, the coaches have the players that are on the team bring girls in.
Well, I learned everything that I know about college basketball recruiting watching He Got Game.
There you go.
And Ray Allen had a Snow Bunny threesome, didn't he? You remember that?
I do.
You were jealous, right?
I could go for one right now.
Yeah.
I actually was listening to Rob Parker on Fox Sports Radio, and he was saying how, it's impossible for him to root for Rick Pitino.
Why?
Well, Rick got into, a bit of trouble. You remember, right? Well, first of all, Rick has been in quite a bit of trouble, right? And left the last school. And the first thing I remember ever happening is not the first thing, but major thing that I remember happening is when at the restaurant with that lady.
With 6 seconds of penetration.
But he was married or whatever.
Quick Rick.
And he's saying that, a leader of men can't do that. But my thing is this. Those are two grown people. It wasn't rape. The lady said, hey, yeah, I wanted it too, or whatever. So it wasn't anything. It wasn't no funny business.
She just wanted it a little longer than he gave.
But apparently he paid for those services. Now you move it to the next thing that happened, which he was fired. He was let go, but he wasn't really what's the word I'm looking for? Caught on any wrongdoing, which is the students.
And we're talking about the Louisville situation.
The Louisville situation with the boys. They were basically prostitutes were coming in on these visits and having sex with the boys.
Servicing the recruits.
Servicing the recruits.
And then when you talk about the recruits, that some of these kids may be minors, essentially. It's possible.
It's possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's possible. Now, my thing on that, and that is a bad thing, right? But number one, that's been going on before. That doesn't make it right or wrong, but that's been going on before the times. Not necessarily prostitutes, but we all know that when recruits come on these college visits, the coaches have the players that are on the team bring girls in.
Well, I learned everything that I know about college basketball recruiting watching He Got Game.
There you go.
And Ray Allen had a Snow Bunny threesome, didn't he? You remember that?
I do.
You were jealous, right?
I could go for one right now.
Yeah.
Talking about I want one Snow Bunny, 3. God, shit. I can only imagine. Now again, doesn't make it right, but what I'm saying is it doesn't make him damn R. Kelly or something, and he was never really caught up in the madness of the wrongdoing. He was just the head coach for the team that was happening on.
And ultimately had to take the fall for it.
Yeah, ultimately had to take the fall for it. Now, it's hard to believe he wouldn't have known anything about it, especially with him having transgressions in the past with prostitutes. I mean, it's kind of like, hey, if you can smell shit, it's probably shit around. But
or at least a fart.
But again, I just don't think it's the worst thing in the world. I say all that to say I want to feel good about rooting for Rick Pitino and advancing that team in my bracket. All right?
Rick Pitino is, he's on the absolute pantheon of college basketball coaches. He's up there, but he's done it in a very unique way.
Yeah.
He started like the Cinderella story. He made the Final Four in 1987 with Providence College and a point guard named Billy Donovan, who's now the Bulls coach, and himself a 2-time national champion in college basketball with the Gators. And he got to Kentucky and built probably one of the strongest dynasties of the modern era with the talent that he had coming in and out of Kentucky every year. He coached the Knicks. Then he left Kentucky to coach the Celtics, and then kind of comes back in and builds Louisville up and wins a title with them. Then everything goes to hell there. He ends up in Greece coaching local legend Nick Calathis. And then he makes his way back in at Iona, coaching Walter Clayton Jr., who's the Gators point guard, All-American there. And then he gets to St. John's, and he's got them as a super high seed in this tournament, Big East Conference champions. This dude wins, and gets shit done. And just an amazing coach. And you have to look at this he's old.
Yeah.
And he's got a lot of accomplishments. And part of you would be like, why isn't this guy just chilling, being a commentator, riding off into retirement? He takes the St. John's job, which was nothing. They haven't won a Big East title in 30 years until this past weekend. They don't have great resources. They don't have cool facilities. They don't have a lot of stuff. But he goes there and wins.
With the expectation to win.
Well, if he arrives.
For himself. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he knows he's going to win.
That's crazy.
I'm Rick Pitino. I'm going to win. That's what it is. And so I have just a lot of respect for his career. And again, the transgressions are what they are. He's not a perfect human being. And again, in some level, you could probably say, maybe if he wasn't as ambitious in his own way, maybe when he got that Kentucky job, he just should have stayed there for 30 years.
Yeah.
And be coaching Kentucky now and have more wins than Coach K.
Yeah.
But it just wasn't what he wanted to do. He wanted the challenge to do these things. And I think, we talked earlier about evaluating careers and stuff like that. Again, it's not John Wooden with the 10 titles. It's not Coach K with, or Dean Smith with
wins.
30 or 40 years at the same school doing great things and winning all these games. But this dude wins, man. And to see him at this stage of his career, at this stage of his life, bring a team into the tournament that is ready to make some noise and fight. Gotta love it. Gotta respect it. I'm rooting for him to do well in this tournament. And I have just a lot of respect for him as a basketball coach.
Yeah.
And you go back in time, he was those Providence teams. They were not super athletic guys, but he bought into the philosophy of full court pressing back then, which became the way to play. And he was also a huge proponent of 3-point shooting. Back in the 80s.
Back in the day, yeah.
And he had his teams pressing, trapping, pushing the ball up, taking open threes, and playing in a frenetic, great style. I got a lot of respect to him, and I think you're kind of short-sighted on trying to nitpick and critique him too much for all that he's accomplished in the game.
100%. 100%. You were wrong on that, Rob Parker. Okay. And
eat a bag of dicks, bitch.
And that's coming from, and he's a guy that goes to strip clubs a lot. It's a deeper
Rob Parker?
Yeah. Okay. It's a deeper issue, a deeper topic, the prostitution thing. But that's also to me, it's just not really even a big thing, because when you really narrow it down, if you're interested in women, you're paying for the coochie. You just are.
We've said that all the time.
No matter how you dress it down, turn it down, he's just doing it in a more simplified and quicker fashion.
You think that weekend away in Miami is free? You think that big dinner at Ruth Chris, that's not paying for something?
Come on, man. Think about it. He's at a restaurant. You know how many guys were there at that same restaurant with some woman that they have interest in, spending whatever, $100, $150, $200, $300 on that meal, you know what I mean? And the effort it took to get there to the date and all of this you're going to do. That guy is looking for sex. Rick beat all of that and just said, hey, instead of spending $300-$400 on his night, I'll give you $150. Let's get straight to it. I only have 6 seconds in me. And then it's over with. What is the difference, really, honestly?
Yeah.
There is none, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But, whatever, it is tricky with the kids. I understand that. But it's not a R. Kelly, Michael Jackson kids type thing. You know? All right. Now,